Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Designated Reports Flick Takes. Today, we're going to be reviewing the movie Nobody. And this is Asim, and my name is Pete. Hopefully, you enjoy this episode. Now, Asim, tell me, how did you feel about this movie? I mean, first, what did it remind you of? What exactly came to mind when after you saw this movie?
The movies that came to mind when I saw this were John Wick with a midlife crisis, and it reminded me of Death Wish, where it's just like, oh, this guy's a normal man, whatever, and then he just goes on a vengeance spree. I personally loved it. It's probably the best movie I've seen this year so far. What did you feel?
I love this movie, and of course, as soon as I finished this movie, I'm like, whoa, this is another John Wick, which I love because it's, just a different version of John Wick, but you can still feel the John Wick feel. It reminded me of The Foreigner, let's see, Taken, the Equalizer. Basically, I guess the same feel as these guys. They've dealt with someone who's not such a big deal, but then those guys are connected to Russian mafia, and now that one guy's got to take everybody down. That's kind of the same feel. But the thing is, with this dude, especially, with all of them having different leads, I thought he did his pretty well, and I would definitely watch this movie again. It reminded me of that just being in the same action scenes of with John Wick. But I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, do you have a favorite part in general about this whole thing? Because I know it was all pretty
sure.
good.
About like a third of the way through the movie, there's a scene where a bunch of people in a car, they crash the car next to the bus that the main character, whose name is Hutch, is taken. Mm-hmm. And they all get onto the bus and they all start harassing a woman, and that's when Hutch decides the kid gloves come off, I gotta take over. And he proceeds to knock the living crap out of all of those dudes in that gang, and it was chef's kiss. Terrific. How about you, man?
Well, the thing is, I mean, there's a lot of the scenes I enjoyed, but to pick one, I would say one of my favorite things was, I guess one of my favorite things is when seeing the context. I like when he said, "You took my daughter's bracelet," and the
kitty cat bracelet.
Yeah, it really, I guess I was able to relate to that, because I'm like, you know what. That was a good line in the right context. When you watch the whole thing, it definitely connected, and it got me smiling. I enjoy that a lot. But I also love the stunts, the choreography, camera work. Oh my goodness, insanity!
Fight choreography in this movie and the camera work were like, oh, next level, yeah.
Dude, man. I mean, I love when the director knows how to move his camera and how to get them in the right spot, especially when you're shooting a fight scene like this. Like, you have to make sure everybody sort of get with you. You know who else I like his camera work when it comes to fighting, because he does a lot of close contact type of it, is Zack Snyder. He does a lot of that too, instead of the wide range some people do, just so you can't see certain things. But yeah, I definitely enjoy a lot of this movie. That's the thing. Now, if you have to give a criticism, what would you say you didn't care so much about in the movie?
Well, there's a point at the end of the movie where he puts a mine on a glass window and he charges into the Russian mobs. I guess he's the main bad guy in this movie, right?
Yeah.
He charges at him and it explodes. And Hutch is totally fine, but you would think that the window would explode and he would have glass shards over him, but that's just a nitpick. Like, it's an action movie. Like, should I be taking that seriously? I don't think so, man. It was fun, but it was still in the back of my mind. I was like,
I feel you.
Okay.
I feel
So
you.
yeah.
Yeah, like common sense kind of, I throw it out the window. Certain movies I don't, really put common sense in them anymore because of, I guess if it has too much good stuff, I'll just throw that out. It's like, the kid does a lot of great things in the classroom, but that one time they forgot an obvious question. You're like, you know what? I'll let that slide. I'll give that one there. I'll let that slide for them. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it was a pretty good movie. The third act was a little shaky for me, sort of, story wise, but I didn't go there for the story, really, to be honest. Although the story is okay in general, but as far as, if you're paying close attention, the third act was a little shaky, kind of throw you off a little bit, but nothing to really be concerned about to say, okay, yeah, that movie's gonna lose points when it comes to me. So I'm definitely up to and vouch for that movie for you to go watch it if you're up for it, because I'm definitely gonna see it a second time and maybe a third time.
I already saw it a second time. I saw it a second time yesterday. This was actually the first movie I saw in a movie theater since last year, since the pandemic started, and it was a perfect way to bring myself back into public after just being locked up in my house the whole time. And then watching it again yesterday, it totally held up. You can watch this movie over and over again. It kind of starts off slowly, but I think that works for the movie because once it gets going, it just keeps rolling and rolling. And yeah, I just love this movie so much. I hope you don't mind, but I want to bring up another scene that I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's the scene where Julian is singing in his nightclub. Julian again is the main bad in this movie, and he's singing in his nightclub, and then out of nowhere he's like, "Wait, what's this?" And it's Hutch at a table, just chowing down on steak, watching him perform. And by that point, Julian knows who this guy is. He's a guy that's been a thorn in his side, and he's like, the balls on this man. I loved it. It was hilarious. I would go more into that scene, but I don't want to spoil it too much.
Well, we don't want to do that. And I also enjoy the build up in that show. They didn't show you, okay, yeah, he was in retirement, all of a sudden, boom, I'm killing everybody. No, they show you that, build up. Even in his fighting, they show you he was getting a few punches just because, I've been fighting a bit, so, you're bound to, miss something. So I thought that was very, very human of them to really show, okay, yeah, he's not just gonna flip the script and then boom, he's fighting. Now, and that was one thing. I mean, it's not to criticize John Wick, but he was retired. He didn't he wasn't part of the whole thing for a bit, and then all of a sudden they kill his dog. Boom! Now he was killing as if he was killing from day one. So that was a difference between John Wick and this one, and I enjoy that about it because it really shows you, especially because he likes to do a lot of hand-to-hand combat instead of the gun. That was cool too. I could go on and on about the stuff I like about this movie, but I definitely enjoyed it, and hopefully. I mean, what would you give this movie if you were to score this movie?
I think I would give it a 4 out of 5. It was just so much fun to watch. I don't have too many complaints. Like you said, there's not much to the story, but you're not here for the story. You're here for Bob Odenkirk to kick butt. You want him to throw punches, shoot guns, throw knives. He does all of that, and he looks like he's having a lot of fun doing it. So, yeah, go see this movie. Go see it twice. I was kind of thinking, should I give it a 4.5? And you know what? I'm still thinking about it. Maybe I'll watch it a third and a fourth time. Maybe it does deserve you know what? I'm going out on a limb. 4.5. It's a fun movie, man. It's really fun.
I agree, and it's interesting you say it like that because usually when I want to score them, I would score them out of 100 and then break it down for 4 out of 5, and I give it an 85%, so yeah, it's definitely 4.5, 5, 4, 5, 4.5, 4.5. Yeah, you and I agree definitely on this one. So this movie was very enjoyable.
The the rewatchability on this is just like next level in my opinion. Like you're gonna be able to watch this over and over in my opinion.
I plan on, and I guess since I've only seen it once, I give it the 4.5. You never know, maybe when I watch it the second time, I want to give it more. But as far as I'm concerned, this movie delivers. Bob definitely came out and did what he could. I mean, I didn't have doubts because from his previous, he always delivers and performs. And of course, but you know him for some of his comic relief. Now that he was coming into the full action scenes, kind of like, yeah, he's underrated already. Let's see. I know he could step up, and he definitely did step up. So
yeah, man, he showed some crazy range, man. Because like you said, he's known for his comedy. He was starting to do some drama things here and there, and now he's throwing out action movies. Like, who is this man? What can't he do?
Yo, yeah, he definitely said that this time. I would definitely put him on the side of the big dudes who has high range and able to just do anything at this point. But yeah, man. Hopefully everybody enjoyed this episode. If you're thinking about watching it, you should definitely go out and watch it. If you're thinking about not watching it, you know what? Go out and watch that movie. You'll have fun, especially if you
try to catch it in the movie theaters before it leaves, man. It's worth seeing on the big screen.
Definitely. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. My name is Pete, and
I'm Hasib. Go New York Knicks!